What's goody YouTube? It's your boy Torrance and I'm back this week with another video. First things first, I want to give a shout out to all my subscribers because we know film ain't never gonna die. Second, if you've been liking the content, please share it, comment, and most definitely subscribe. This week, I know you want it. I know you've been waiting. We getting into another film session. This film session is with this model named Kia and we had a blast. If you don't know what a film session is, I'll drop a link in the description and I'll put a card up here so that you can see the first film session and you can understand what it is. But basically, it's a play-by-play of my film photography photo shoots. So let's dig into this week's film session. Catch you on the other side. You was digging them photos, right? Like, that was nice. I was kind of proud of myself. I'm a little proud of myself, and I ain't arrogant or nothing, but I think I did all right. But so let's get into the equipment that I use. So the equipment I use obviously was my Mamiya RB67 Pro SD. I use a 65mm lens, the 90mm lens, and the 180mm lens. Man, I cannot say millimeter. Say it like 5mm. Millimeter. And I got my Chicago accent. I cannot say millimeter to save my life. I also used the Portra 400 film. I also used some pill apart film. I had my strobe, and I also used a reflector. So let's get into this location. I mean, I feel like I'm known for my locations. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm out here like Carmen Sandiego, like out here searching for locations. Did she search for stuff or did we just find her? I don't know. But I love searching for a new location. And this location had like just so many micro locations in it. And what I mean by micro locations, like I can shoot inside, I can shoot outside of the structure, I can shoot next to it. I can, you know, if I wanted somebody to lay on the floor, to be a different little look. It was just so much and it was so beautiful. But guess where I found it? Just guess. Google Maps. Yes, I was on Google Maps looking for a location. I had to do the wardrobe for this as well. So I was kind of pressed for time. So I didn't have time to go and physically scout it. So I looked on Google Maps. I found this spot and I was like, yeah, that's going to work. I would suggest using Google Maps. Use the little guy you grab and you drop him on a street view. And that way you can see the environment. I live by that, man. I stand by it. I'm not saying you're gonna find all your locations like that, but sometimes you can find some really solid stuff. Some guy took a picture of this structure. I dropped a little dude on a little blue dot and I found it. It was so clutch. Okay, let's talk about the hardships. Basically the stuff that I wish I kind of would have thought of and could have done better. For this shoot, it really wasn't that much. I had to kind of nitpick to find this hardship just to stick to the formula of this particular show. But one of the hardships I had was finding light to reflect when you're in the woods. It was a little hard. I mean, you think about being in the woods, it's a shaded area. Also, this day was partly cloudy or partly sunny. Never really know the difference. But it was really hard to find certain spots where there'd be enough light to reflect back into the model's face to fill in some dark shadows and things like that. Honestly, that was my biggest hardship. Okay, so let's get into the techniques that I use. This is a channel where I like to share knowledge with people, and I love to tell people how I got a certain result. I'm not the guy that's gonna hide secrets from you. Well, I hide some. Like, some things I'm just not gonna tell you, bro. But most things I'll tell you. Okay, so let's get into the first technique that I used. The first technique that I used was that I planned my shot. I mean, I planned the photo shoot, but I also had to plan the shot. A lot of us, man, we get so infatuated with like, oh, we got the model, we got the clothing, the makeup, the camera, the location. But you never think about, okay, what shot do I actually want to get? What frame? I'm not talking about, oh, I have someone I know. What frame, pose, what's around the person, the lighting. I planned that and I got that. And that's this shot right here. Spectacular. I would just encourage you guys to do that. Slow down, plan your shot. We always try to get in these situations and we try to get as many images as possible and you try to choose them. Well, with film, you're only getting so many images, but still, you try to shoot as much as possible and then choose that one image. No, plan each frame. You got 10 frames, you should have 10 shots in mind that you want to plan, or at least 5. The second technique that I used was my technique of not loading the film until I get on location. And to me, this is important. I was able to meter the location and see, okay, how light, how dark certain areas were. Can I use this film without flash, with just my reflector? And can I use this film with flash? So that's why I landed on the 400. It was a versatile film for that particular day. So I was able to use the reflector, still get nice exposures, and I was able just to use the flash and get a nice exposure. And then on top of that, another technique that I used was I used my Polaroid to see how the light will fall inside of this structure. So this is my first time shooting this structure. I didn't know it's wood. I didn't know how the light was going to act, how the shadows were going to fall. So boom, I pop off a Polaroid. I wait maybe a minute and a half, minute, 12 seconds, something like that, depending on the temperature. And boom, I have some sort of a testing ground of where I can maneuver and how the light's going to react in that environment. Okay, so another technique that I use is not really even a technique. It's just kind of like one of those things I think you should have. And I'm saying things, and that's kind of wrong because it's a person. I think you should have an assistant. Like my buddy Miles, man, I can't thank this dude enough for coming out and assisting me on my photo shoots. Having him there to move the light, adjust the light, hold the light, meter, especially on like this shot here, I had to stand outside of the structure down a hill and I had to tell him, hey, move the light like this. And Miles knows his way around the strobe, so he was able to maneuver the light and get it, in the right area for me. But I also needed him to meter it. So he was able to do that up there while I was down low, getting ready to take the actual shot. So sometimes having an extra hand helps. I mean, obviously with the reflector, I needed someone to hold the reflector. And guess what? It's always nice to have somebody else on set to be able to, tell you, hey man, slow down. Miles, he'll tell me sometimes, hey man, take your time, slow down, don't rush it. Because sometimes you need those reminders. And it's just nice to have that person there. So thanks, Miles. I appreciate you, bro. Let's get into my favorite part of the film session. And that's my favorite image from the shoot. Man, this shoot was amazing. And I'm not one to toot my own horn and say, oh yeah, I do this, I do that. There are a lot of things I can do better. Like, I'm sure you can tell me a lot of things I can do better. But I'm happy with the result from the shoot. And my favorite shot, man, somebody's just like flying, bro. My favorite shot from this shoot is, it just characterizes why I love film. And it's kind of two favorite shots. This first shot here is because I just nailed the lighting. I mean, you talk about Rembrandt lighting. Nailing that triangle right there. I mean, this thing is like a painting to me. And then also just the colors. I mean, these colors are just crazy. But this second shot, I love this because it's not perfect. I was fighting my film in the dark bag. And I can admit that sometimes it is hard to get that film on the roll. Sometimes it want to fight back to you, but for some reason, I don't know why. I think I was in a rush. I was a little rough with the film. And I ended up getting some marks on the film, but just look at this. look at where the marks landed. This just looks like something out of some high fashion magazine where it's like they want to show you this clean but still rugged. You get a nice beautiful model, this rugged scene. So I love this photo. This means something to me because it's not perfect. And I know it's a lot of cats out here shooting stuff. They want things to look perfect. And that's honestly, that's why you shoot digital. You want things to look just as perfect as it does in real life, and you want to add this in post. Well, I had a happy accident, and this looks amazing. I'll take this over digital any day. All right, guys, that's all I have for this film session. I really appreciate you guys checking it out. There'll be more to come. I'll be doing this with every shoot that I do. It may take a while for it to come to you, but you're gonna get it. But before I leave, I always gotta share a fun fact about me. My favorite color is gold. I just love how gold looks on anything. It can be metallic gold, you know, gold-plated mouse, gold-plated camera. It doesn't have to be like real gold when it's a color. It has to be real gold when it's jewelry. But I just really enjoy gold. I don't know why. Maybe it's like my personality. I'm golden. But yeah, my favorite color is gold. So if you got a gold-plated camera or something like that, send it my way. I'll take it. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And like I always say, go out there, buy you a film camera, and shoot.